You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live Portraits, featuring intimate, in-depth interviews with Black Hollywood stars and influencers. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live Portraits, Dario Kristen.
Hey guys, welcome to Black Hollywood Live's Portraits. I am not Dario Kristen. I am DJ Jesse Janedy here in studio with the lovely Courtney Stewart.
What's up, everybody?
And this jam we're listening to right now is by the one and only, the legendary Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah,
Thank you for coming in studio.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Love the single.
Yes.
And I love the lyric video that you guys have up on the little cell phone.
So, yeah.
So we're
So
gonna get a
good.
music video.
Yeah. We working on a video now. Just getting all the ideas for it. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that it's well, it's since it's my record, I gotta make sure that people understand it's my record. Bow Wow's just a feature artist on there, so just gotta make sure I do a video that displays what I'm doing in my life, and with the DJing and producing and all of that at the same time, and then show Bow Wow as well in the video. Yeah.
It's a summer jam, man. Already.
Yeah.
What was it about choosing Bow Wow to come onto the record? As your coming out record with this.
Well, I mean, we're in a market where people believe that it's highly dominated by young people, right? And I felt like if, as always, when I found Bow Wow was the leader of the young school generation. All of these guys that's out right now that's under 25 years old or even 25 years old, they all look up to Bow Wow.
Right.
Like, they all claim that this was the reason that they got to, they started rapping because they was watching 106 in Park and they saw what he was doing and the dominance that Bow Wow had on that station. So I just heard a lot of that over the past year or so, and I was just like, it don't make sense for me to go out here and try to find no new artist that's better than the artist that I already have. I mean, it does make sense to find somebody, but right now it's kind of hard to find somebody that's got the mindset that Bow Wow has. I mean, Bow Wow had a #1 record when he was 12. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of hard to. He understands it. He gets it. He knows exactly what he has to do and what not to do. So for me, putting out a record, I just had to go with, and like looking at the rest of the DJs that do this. Most of the time, they using the artist that's not theirs. You know what I mean? I have the ability to use an artist that's mine. You know what I mean? So,
And it also is, I don't know, there's something nostalgic about the two of you guys doing a track
I
together.
guess to other people, I don't know. I mean, for me, Bow Wow's been around me since he was 12. So I it feels like I said, it just feels natural to me. Yeah.
And it's like, we always talk about this over at the music show, The Beat. Music today, I mean, you just look at me growing up from the 90s to now, and music today has just taken a turn and it's lost a certain sound to it. We're moving in a new generation with new sounds and whatnot that we're playing with. How do you feel about music out there today, and what do you want to make sure that JD is stamping in music in 2015?
I think the music today is good. I just think that there's a lot of people that don't have mentorship prior to putting out these records, and it's just like you gotta, if you don't, you gotta think a little bit harder and work a lot harder to make sure that the music and when people get it, it's a quality, because that's what you're dealing with. Before, in the 90s and 2000 era of music, it was the right artists, it was the right songs, it was the right music, it was the right look. Now you got artists that's got hit records and you can walk past them in the streets and not even know who it is. You know what I mean? So it's just like, they gotta work on a lot of different areas, because the stars were so aligned in the 90s and 2000s that people that saw that see this and be like, I'm not really dealing with this new generation. So,
Yeah. Do you think that the new generation is really open to that sort of mentorship and that desire?
Yeah, I mean, this generation is obsessed with everything that came before them. You know what I mean? Like they the Jordan lines outside sneaker stores is longer than they ever been nowadays. Just everything, kids, everything, just everything that what I mean, like even Cuban links for just to say for anything, like a Cuban link was the thing. Like that was the name of Ghostface Killer's Raekwon's album. That was I think that was the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Early 90s, yeah.
For that to be like the new chain of choice in hip hop, that's just people being obsessed with the old, with things that came before them. So I mean, it's just like if you look at everything that's happening right now, all of these kids, they basically doing or trying to do everything that they saw or that they heard about in the 90s and 2000.
It's interesting. It's like every 10 years and forward, they reach back 10 years back.
Yeah, like if you look at like Chris Brown and Tiger's album cover, they look like Kris Kross.
Kris Kross.
Yes. Which, by the way, I have to, since you're here, I have to say this. My first concert ever. My mom did not know this. She thought it was going to be something else, but we ended up at a Kris Kross concert, and it done changed my life for the rest of my life. Okay, so a new album?
Yeah.
When can we expect that, and what kind of a where are we going with it?
It probably won't be for a while because I plan on like to flood the marketplace with just good music and good music that's for the culture of people that love music, people that dance, people that DJ, people that just like to feel good and listen to music. So I plan on putting out like 3-4 more records before the album comes, but it probably come out in December or something like that.
Okay. Any other big collaborations that you could tell us?
I'm sure. I mean, I'm working on one that's like. I mean, they all like Wish records. You know what I mean? Like until I get the person on there. But I mean, I was doing a record like about a week ago with me. I had T.I. in the studio. I plan on putting Nas on that record, and I want Ed Sheeran.
Oh, whoa.
Yes. Yeah. So
very eclectic song.
So I mean, a lot. That's a record I'm actually rapping on, though. By the way, so that's not like a lot of these records. I won't be actually. I mean, I'm saying that my music is more of a me rapping as a performance than anything. I want people to pick because I think a lot of times with my career, people get lost in Jermaine Dupri doing so much that they don't really focus on what I want them to focus on. So this time I want people to focus on the fact that I'm a producer. First I find artists, I write songs, and I want you to really focus on that. So I might put out an instrumental record as my second, third single or something like that. That's just good. I mean, I say that because records that I grew up listening to, some of them weren't they weren't songs like Egyptian Lover, Planet Rock by Africa Bambaataa. These was just beats that you love. They had enough characteristics to stand up against any song that came on after them or came on before them. And that's what I'm trying to take myself to that place where I make a beat that's so hard that it's got the same characteristics of any song that you sing. Because to me that's what EDM is. EDM is the music of EDM is powerful enough to stand up against people. I mean, or people don't even care that there's no lyrics on these beats. They just listening to the records. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just exploring that, just trying to make sure that on this side of the world, hip hop, R&B, pop, whatever you want to call my music, that I make music that stands up to that type of level.
What sort of was the catalyst, or what sort of inspired you to sort of go in this direction? Had you just been traveling and you like felt a need that there was sort of a hole right now that you really could bring that to a different audience?
Yeah, for the most part, I've been DJing in Vegas for like the past 5 years, and in Vegas I don't play EDM. I play rap and I play hip hop and I play trap that basically sounds like a mesh between EDM and rap. But for the most part, I noticed that. The joke that EDM has, we don't have that in hip hop. We don't have somebody that's out here that's like really pushing the envelope of hip hop music or hip hop DJs to get DJs to even making the same type of money that these DJs are making, or even be presented in the same light. If you go to Vegas, you see all these DJs they got billboards all around the city. You know what I'm saying? And they're the main attention. They're the main attraction. Excuse me. And it's that. And I look at that. I'm saying like, damn, hip hop is a lot more trendy. It's a lot more catchy. It's a lot more. It has a lot more to it than EDM, as far as I'm concerned. Right. But it's strange that it doesn't have this same effect on the world. And I just think it's because. No one actually has taken the idea that I'm taking and actually ran with it. You know, DJs put out records, but it's just like, say, like Khaled, for instance, he puts out DJ records, which are great, but then he wants to be more in the hip hop world than the world of DJing. Right. I guess because he's been a DJ all his life. I can't really speak on it, but I'm just saying when I look at that. We need more of that, but we need more of it to be like, you know, like to me, DJ Khaled should be performing at Coachella. And he should be doing a set at Coachella because he got artists that's on these songs. He could do like, I think Khaled got like 10 records that he could do at Coachella and bring out the artists performing, and it'll be crazy. Because I saw Snake this year, and Snake brought out DMX, and he brought out, what's the kids that made the No Flex song?
Ray
Sharma.
Yeah, he brought them out, and the crowd went crazy. And it's like 10,000 people inside this tent that was going, you know, just going bananas, right? And I saw that when I'm a visionary person. When I see things, I'm like, okay, somebody's not doing this, then I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? So I saw that. Like when I went to concerts, I saw people jumping, and I went home and I'm like, if I put these little kids on this record and I make them jump like I seen at this concert, what's the odds of this being big?
Well, I was jumping. I was in that audience with my mom. Like.
So I mean, same thing with this. My mind is that, you know, by January, Jermaine Dupri goes on tour, and where you see or hear me saying that I'm DJing, it's much more of an experience than me just standing on the stage. I'm planning on bringing out artists. You know, Bow Wow's doing CSI, so it might be hard for him to go. So that's why, you know. But the more I do, that's what I'm playing. I'm planning on trying to give people a DJ experience that they never had before.
That's really interesting because to talk about hip hop and this where we are right now with it. There's a lot of controversy, especially when it comes to female hip-hop artists. You know, we have Nicki Minaj, which just got nominated for the BET Awards. Azalea Banks was firing at BET, saying, why are you even putting other people in the category? Right now, why do you feel it's so hard, and especially you've been in this business for so long, why do you think right now it's so hard for any other female to kind of get any sort of recognition when there are really good female MCs out there right now? But it's just like, to get on top of that cake, what would you say about that?
I think it's always been the same. I don't think it's nothing different. You know, when I put out Brat, it was the same thing. It wasn't no female artist out that channeled the top level of or demanded that attention. You know what I mean? Latifah was out. You had Light, and you had Moni Love, and I mean, we had a bunch of artists at this point when I put out Brat, but I also felt like the attitude that we came out with Brat and the music spoke a different language, and I think that's what it is. I think it's more than just rap with a female. Like, you know, when Iggy came out with Fancy,
yeah,
the record was like all the stars aligned. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what you got to do when you put out music. Same thing with Nicki. When Nicki came out, all the stars aligned. Her records was just like, the records was dope. She was saying the right stuff, and she looked right. You know what I mean? I think it's a much more of a 3-tiered thing, or a much more of a package that you got to put out when you're a female artist. So a lot of these female artists just come out, and because they got great lyrics, their records don't sound like the best that they should. You know, the producers ain't the right person, or whatever it is. But I think that being a person that's done that before and was successful at it, I just think you gotta look at the package, and you gotta make a package a little bit more rounded than just putting the artist out.
And to talk about a package, I mean, what do you look for in an artist, especially today? You know, looking at all these young kids, a lot of the times it's hard to kind of differentiate some of the artists because they sound too similar. For you, what is your eye focused on?
Well, for me now, you know, when you got a roster as long as I do, and people look at you as a person that has the eye to pick talent, it's it's harder than it used to be for me now because like now, you got to be better than the artist that I've signed. That's the key to me signing you at this point now. It's like because I think the artists that I have, like I got artists like Anthony Hamilton under my belt that you look at this person and you're like, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's nobody that can sing better than this man,
like that.
Right? And this, and the way that man makes you feel when he sings a song, and women too, is just like, you can't, like, the measuring stick is so high. It's like, man, listen. So, if I find a singer, that's the first thing I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about, like, if I bring you in the room, so if I introduce you to the rest of my family, are they going to appreciate you? Are they going to even think that you should be in the room with them? You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's about. Like, at some point, I'm going to have to answer to them saying, like, yo, JD, what are you doing with this guy? He's nothing close to any of the people that's in this room. So, I mean, I made it kind of bad for myself, for other artists, because I have a room full of stars.
Right, yeah.
I
mean, at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
You've been doing this for so long. Was music always, going back to the start, always destined for you? Was that always in your head that this was going to be a part of your life?
Yeah, I started DJing when I was 12, so I've been in love with the music forever. I didn't know where I was gonna end up at. I still don't know where I'm gonna end up at. But music is first and foremost.
Other than music, what would you do? Like right now, if you had to go somewhere else in a different industry?
It would be something musically, tied. Like tech. I just released an app last week called 4 Lanes on the iPhone. It's basically an extension or it's created off of the mindset of Money Anything. So Money Anything, we say switching 4 lanes, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. So it's a card game with 2 thumbs, and you got to switch lanes, but it doesn't move. It's just like switch lanes, you got to avoid things. So you got to avoid police cars, and you got to get the money. And if you miss the money, you lose. So you got to get the money, avoid the police cars. So it's kind of like my version of Frogger for people that's older that know video games. And I think that I've been in that world for a minute. I created my own social network called Global14.com,
Yep.
and I have a crazy, I think, a community of people that come there and stay there and that feel like that's their home, right? And I got plans to make that bigger and do Global 14 concerts and conventions and all the things in Global 14 radio. So for me, this side of my mind is always doing something that's thinking about something else that's different than the music side. So if I wasn't making records, I would it'd still be something music driven, but it probably would, it'd just be, I don't know what it is. It's a lot of things that you could put your hands on too.
How do you stay balanced? How do you stay balanced?
Doing
like
all
being
this.
an entrepreneur, because it's hard. You have to. A lot falls on your shoulders. How do you stay so balanced, or how have you been able to stay so balanced? Because in this industry, you never know what's coming. You never know what's really going to fully work. How do you find that kind of point where you don't break?
Well, for me, you have to, because it's really easy, man. You know what I mean? Like, you got to really believe in the things that you actually hear. Like, I really believe that we as people only use half of our brain. We don't even use half of it. I really believe we use only 1/3 of our brain.
Yeah.
So I'm on a quest to really see what that feels like when I can use half of my brain. Actually, to see if I could ever use all of my brain. You know what I mean? Because I think that doctors are telling us something really that's real. When I hear this conversation and I'm like, man, I could just sit here and just try to use all of my brain. You know what I mean? And it's really just if you have that work ethic that you don't want to you want to get everything out. You know what I'm saying? Me, I want to get everything that I'm thinking about out. And you got to be disciplined. You know what I mean? You got to sit there and be like, you know what? I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to stay here for these next 2-3 hours, and I'm going to get this idea done. I'm going to call everybody in the next 3 hours that need to be a part of this, I'm gonna write down everything I need to do. A lot of people don't do it. A lot of people
get it
just
done
be
right
like,
there
they
and then.
write it down,
Yep.
then they walk away from it, and then that idea just sits there for like a week.
Yep.
I don't have time to do that because I got another idea that's ready to go. So my ideas is in my head like cars, and they like, yo, get out the way.
like 4
so-
lanes.
So, yeah. So yeah, it's just, you know, you got and you can't fall into the place of people loving you or not loving you. You know what I mean? That's another thing that people get twisted with. Like, I don't believe that. I don't really know that I really believe that people honestly love Jermaine Dupri.
I would.
love
Well,
you.
as honestly
wanna
as
say we-
music fans, we can tell you that is
I mean,
very
I
true. We
appreciate-
ain't just
I-
up here
ATL
saying
was the
that.
home.
I appreciate it, but
Dude.
I'm just saying, like, I never get caught up in that. You know what I mean? I just get caught up in, like, let me continue to keep putting this music out. You know what I mean? I saw like a review today on the Where You At record, right? And I was reading the review, and the guy is saying, you know, Jermaine is trying to go back and, you know, it was a good review, but he's basically trying to say that I figured out a way to make my music sound young again, and I'm just like, okay. When did my music sound old? Because I thought
You know,
Bow Wow,
because I'm
I thought
like-
Bow Wow was, you know, because as I look at when people say that, I don't think people. That's what I'm saying. I don't think people really be thinking when they talk about me, because Bow Wow is the leader of the young guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, every young artist was out chasing Bow Wow. And like I had a meeting with Keke Palmer last night. She's 21 years old, and she was telling me that she wanted me to work on her album, and she was like,
wow.
she's 22, and she was just like, you know, I want you to do with me what you did with Bow Wow. Like, you nailed it, right? So when I read a review like that, I'm like, so, okay, here's a 22-year-old person that's telling me I nailed it. When did the music get old? When did the music start sounding old? Like, you know what I mean? Like, of course I did Mariah Carey, and you can, if you want to say that sounds older than Bow Wow, then cool. You know what I mean? Or then when I see a review where people say, this new song you got, man, it sounds like it's too young. And I'm like, what are you talking about? First of all,
That's a talent to be able to.
yeah, that's I mean, but
Crossroads.
at the same time, they want. It's like you can't. A person like me, it's like you can't win, because they want to say, they want to be able to say, oh man, it sounds like JD's still stuck in the '90s. So then he can't say that. They like, man, it sound like you trying to be young. What? Just like the
you.
record, please.
That's
Whatever.
consistent good music.
Yeah, that's what I say. So with that, that's what I'm saying. A lot of times people get that. They get caught up in that mix, and they let that cloud their brain. I don't pay no attention to that.
Was there ever a time because I mean, you've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, was there ever a time that you were just like, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Nah, cause I, you know, when you believe that you're better than everybody, it's hard for you to stop. Like, I just, for real, I don't believe that. I don't believe that a lot of people work as hard as I do, and that's the belief. It's not even a conceited thing. It's a belief that I work at this a lot harder than anybody else that I know. Right, I write the lyrics. I write, to make the beats. I get out here and do interviews. I get in front of the artists. And, yeah, I do. I go DJ. I'm cussing the artists out, telling them what they're not supposed to be doing. I just feel like it's hard for any 1, 2, 3, 4 people to compete with me when it comes to me doing what I do. So quitting is like, I mean, that's just would be like me letting down myself, because nobody could ever rub me enough to make me say, you know, I don't want to do this no more, because it's like, it's all me. It's based on, you know, I'm the driver. I never really feel like it's somebody that's on the side of me saying, I'm going to take you down, because I'm looking around all the time. Like, I hear people say, we don't have no artist development in the music industry no more, and I'm like, okay, well, are you saying that because you feel like I'm not doing it, or what are you saying, right? And if you say it to me, that means you're saying it to me, like, Jermaine, we need more artist development in the music industry. And then I'm thinking, like, am I the only person that does this?
Possible.
So it's just, I never, I mean, I have gotten to a point where I didn't like the music business, but that's just me learning myself and understanding that it's some of us out here that are not supposed to work for people. Like, when I went to Def Jam, and I went to Virgin, and I went to Island, and I went in those companies to become the president of those companies, that was me just doing something new. But what I learned in those times is that I'm like Steve Jobs. I'm not supposed to be working for anyone. I'm supposed to be the leader of my own ship forever. And you have to learn that. I mean, I was trying to do something else and do other things, but ultimately, it's hard for you to tell somebody like myself who's thinking a lot more than the boss is thinking what he needs to do.
I mean,
Understand that.
you are the boss.
Did you have any specific mentors for yourself that helped you sort of navigate through? Because you definitely started very young and were killing it early.
No, thank you. Nah, I didn't. I use people that don't even know me. You know what I mean? Like Quincy Jones. I used Quincy Jones before I ever knew him. Teddy Riley was a big inspiration in my life. And everybody else, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Barry Gordy, craziest one. Like, I really want to have a conversation with Barry Gordy one day when I feel like I'm able to have a conversation with him, because I feel like I'm just a cheap imitation copy of Barry Gordy at this particular point in time right now. I'm gonna get to a point where I feel like I'm able to sit down and talk to him, and he will feel like he met the person that is like his equal. But right now, I don't feel like I'm his equal yet.
What do you think you still have to do to really get to that place?
Oh man, you got to create more. I need like 10 Bow Wows. You know what I mean? Like he found Stevie Wonder, the Jackson 5, Smokey Robinson, the Temptations, the Four Tops,
the
Supremes. I mean, Diana Ross. I mean, I can stop now, but I'm just saying, alone, if you found Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson,
Done.
you know, if I find those two artists, y'all will never speak to me again in life, because I'll be like, man, listen, I have done something that nobody else will ever do. So I just feel like I'm just like, you know, I'm a cheap imitation of him. I believe everything that he's done. I just look at it and I want to do it, but I don't feel like I've hit that mark yet.
Interesting.
I want to play, I mean, I guess we'd call it a little game, an artist development game. I'm going to shoot some names out there and a couple questions. Destiny's Child.
Yeah.
They've been split up. There's rumors saying that they might come back under a new name because there was legal drama with Matthew Knowles. Is that a smart move for Destiny's Child to come back today, or is that something you would see maybe a couple years from now as far as with what they're doing with their project?
I think it's smart for them to come back. I mean, I think that I believe this, like, we only got one life, man. You know what I mean? A lot of us, we go through this life thinking that we can just, like, pause and go and pause and come back and pause. Like, you only got one life, man. In that time that you pausing, you're getting older and your clock is moving. I don't believe you have time to even think about any of that. And I've been one that has taken a break. That's why I'm much more aggressive about this record now, because I feel like, you know, like I said, you only got one life, man. You got to get it and get it going and keep it going while you can. You know what I mean? A lot of us, like, when I was younger, my idea was that I had to become a millionaire before I turned 19. I was aggressive about that, right? And if you're aggressive about any of this stuff, you can get to that point. But what I mean by that is I didn't wait and be like, well, nah, let me go to college and I was just like, you know what? I don't want to go to school. That's not what I want to do. That might not be the right thing to do, and I know people are going to say whatever they want to say about me, but I think that we only got one life. I could either go to school or I could try to become a millionaire by 19. You have options, you know what I mean? Some people do both. I mean, those are just super talented people. I just didn't see a way for me to do both. So I think the same thing with them. I think that Beyonce's established. Beyonce's a bigger star than she ever was. A Destiny's Child new album and tour would definitely be a sellout around the world. The album would sell. It's easy, and it's something that they would all love to do, and they all need to do it based on just music.
Music-wise, I mean, so the rumor is Jay-Z and Beyonce are working on an album together. Would you say that preference over the Destiny's Child coming together? Or Destiny's Child?
I think us all, man.
All at the same time.
Drop it off. Do it.
I don't think, like I said, I don't think that, you know, like I said, you can't take anything for granted. You can't sit back and be like, well, let's hold on to Jay-Z and Beyonce album for a year or two. Like, why? You know, once again, they both getting old. It's people out here that want both of their positions. And in the music business, it's very easy for that position to switch. Mm-hmm. You know, it could switch overnight without you even knowing. So, if I had my hands on those things, we not waiting, we go on.
You had recently also spoken about Ciara. Ciara's project came out. A lot of people are giving Ciara some slack as far as a performer, saying she needs to just stop, rest, take a break, and come into the fact of you should just model and no one's feeling her music. I like Ciara. I think her music, I feel like it's kind of been consistent. I don't know, obviously her first album was a little different than what she's released, but since the second one, I feel like she's been consistent. Do you feel like there has been a downfall with that sound of R&B trying to cross over into the pop world?
I can't really say I even paid too much attention to it. I'm not really know. I just think that Ciara came out in a way that people, they like. Interesting enough, like I said, people get caught up into what things people say, right? But people want you to, be progressive and do things differently, but they also want to keep it the same. Like, it was one thing that I always talked about when I listened to Michael Jackson records. I was like, it's crazy that, in 2000, even still today, people still play songs from Off the Wall, right? And with that being said, if Michael Jackson would have went back in the studio before he passed and made an album with those same people and did what he did, just tried like 5 or 6 songs, right? One of them would have been something that was what people wanted today. I think a lot of times, a lot of artists, they can't figure out what their fan base wants. The fan base actually wants the same thing that they fell in love with.
I mean, we saw it with Missy Elliott.
They just talk like they don't. Like, you know what I mean? You gotta understand. You gotta be able to translate that. Like, they're saying something to you that sounds like they want you to do something else, but ultimately they want you to do what they fell in love with. So I think that I've heard that a lot with Ciara, that people wanted her to go back with Jazzy, and they wanted her to be in the studio with the people that she came up with, Little John and this and the third. That means that the people want her to do the same thing she's been doing.
So, not to fully go into it, but to kind of just touch on it, Janet Jackson's coming back. Would you recommend the same thing? Because she's been
Why
going
do people say not to touch on it?
Well, I don't know.
It's so funny to me.
You know what I mean? But like, she's been. You just spoke about like, in this industry, you can't take a break for that amount of time, and then come out with something and expect it to kind of be like that. With her, obviously she's a part of this royal family in the industry. Would you say that would be the smarter choice for her, is to go back to that original sound, or to kind of be progressive?
I think she has. I mean, I saw something, I saw the video she put up. It says, it's got Jimmy and Terry on it. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that's what she's doing.
Okay. And then, last but not least, Iggy Azalea has, with everything going on in the U.S. right now, she's kind of taken a lot of heat. And she just got engaged. She's taking a break. She canceled her tour, and she said she'll be back in 2016. Smart move, or because right now she's getting really a lot of negative media?
I don't know. I can't really speak on it. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. You know what I mean? I think that, for me, just looking, I think that somebody bit on too much in the beginning. This is girl's first album, right? And I think they started trying to do arena tours, and they thought that it was gonna sell. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. But from just me looking at it, I think that, because I don't know 5 Iggy Azalea songs. You know what I mean?
I could name 4 off the top of my head right now.
Yeah.
I can name 2.
I can name 4,
but not
2 off this album and 2 on her mixtape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
just don't. I mean, and if you can only name 5, by the way, that's not enough material for an arena tour.
It's like a House of Blues.
So I think I wouldn't say a House of Blues. It's just like spot dates here, open, like say, for instance, when we did You Make Me Wanna album or whatever, the My Way album, Usher opened up for Janet Jackson. Usher sold more records than she did that year. You know what I'm saying? I remember before I started dating Janet, I was out there on the road with Usher, and it was like, I told him, I'm like, yo, you don't. I was like, you don't even need Janet, yo. Like, you're outselling her. You're selling more records than her. You don't gotta open up for her no more. And at that time, his management just felt like it was a great look, and it was. It was a great look for an artist who had a promising career to be on tour with an artist who had an incredible career, right? And I just think that might be the way that Iggy should be going. Should be on tour with. I mean, I think she did open up for Nicki Minaj at one particular point. No.
There's a lot of drama between the two of them.
Oh no, well not Nicki.
She shoulda did.
Who did she open up
would've
for?
been
I
nice.
thought she opened for somebody.
She did, but then they canceled it, and then she went and did her own like
Who was it?
set tour. I can't remember who it was.
I
It
don't
was
remember that.
I want to say it was like two people. It was like a kind of a group situation.
Oh yeah, so I thought she opened for somebody. My bad. But yeah, I think she should open for. I think she should open for someone, and then build, people into seeing her as an artist and grow into being an artist that goes and like I said, I'm still not knowing that they canceled the tour for lack of sales. So I don't know. It might be something else. But I thought that I would think that I didn't know enough music to go see a concert of hers.
To pull off of the kind of the racist comment that she's made, Tom Hanks' son was in the news recently. He's in a rap group, and he on Twitter came out to say, I don't know, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Unless you're air quotes.
On Twitter, he came out to say, these are my, and you drop the N words with his boys, and Twitter's going ham. A lot of people are going ham. He says, look, the N word is a part of hip hop, and this is a part of our culture. Would you agree with that? Because it gets to a point. Okay,
I do. I just think that I think at some point people are like hypocritical. You know what I mean? Like, it is a part of hip hop. It's just like DJing. Like, everybody's DJ now, right? And in the beginning of this, I was like, oh my God, this guy's a DJ. Oh God, this guy's a DJ. And I'm sure it was DJs out there when they heard I was DJing saying, oh God, this guy's a DJ, right? Unfortunately, I've been DJing forever, and I'm a true DJ as far as I'm concerned, and it's other true DJs out there that know that I've been DJing forever. But you got these new guys that just started DJing last week, a week ago, and or just this year period. And it's the same thing. This year, DJing has become a part of culture where you want to be a DJ. Everybody wants to be a DJ. I'm sure all of those CDJs and all of that, I'm sure that business is going through the roof right now. I'm sure everybody is buying one of these little CDJs, like just all kind of kids.
And getting them for their kids, too.
Getting this for Christmas and all that, right? So it's the same. Like, that's part of the culture now. The culture of life is, EDM is a part of the world music thing, and everybody wants to be able to play it themselves. They want to be able to figure out how to, man, I could do that. You can't do it, but you want to be able to do it, right? So with that being said, it's the same thing. You can't say the N-word, but you want to be able to say it. Yeah. And that's what these kids are. They know they're not supposed to say it, but they just want to be able to say it because they hear every song they listen to, somebody saying it. And they like, well, damn, why I can't say it? I'm singing it in the car. You know what I mean? So, and I think when I'm sure I might get flack from people that, the older black people that's listening to this saying, Jermaine, that's not cool that you allow that word to be used like that. But the terminology for that in hip hop is not the derogatory meaning that it is from the back in the days. It's not the same anymore. It can be used in that way, and then that's when it turns into something ugly. But as far as when you rapping and it's in hip hop, yeah, it's used to, as the definition of that is, these are my homeboys. So, it's hard for me to go against it. You know what I mean? I got kids that's teenagers. Right. I understand both sides of this.
And with all the streaming of apps and trying to find new ways to sell music, we have Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music is about to drop. Do you see, this as the new wave of the music industry, or do you see it kind of actually ripping another hole in the music industry because it's kind of separating?
I think it's a new wave. I think that you have to have a new wave because everybody's doing things differently. I was watching this thing when I was out there waiting on you guys to get this room together. I was watching Skrillex, and it was like Skrillex, the way he was talking about making music and putting music together, and he's just like, nobody does music the way people used to do music. Nobody makes music the way people used to. I make music in the hotel room. I don't even need a studio. And I just think, like, if it's people thinking differently, then you need a different way to put the music out. And we just on a whole new wave of just, mindsets not wanting to go with the flow of what's been there. So you got to come up with new things and new ways to put out music. So I feel like all of this has to happen. You know what I mean? It's just like going from, it's just like going like video games. You know what I mean? Like we used to play video games with a cartridge that changed into a disc. Now you ain't got to put no disc in. You could just download the game and it's in your machine. So I mean, it's just a sign of the times. Like you got to be able to change and move with it.
And then we have 4 lanes.
Yeah.
Where you at?
Yeah.
Global 14.
Global14.com. Yes.
What else do you have going on for the rest of this year?
I'm working on. I'm steady working on music. I'm working on Usher's new album. I'm doing Bow Wow's records. I got a new artist. The new female artist that's getting ready to come out. I'm just doing what I do. You know what I mean? I'm finding. And then I got a residency in Vegas. If you want to come check me out, I DJ in Vegas at the Win, in all of the clubs. So you can go on the on the website at the Win and check Tris, Excess, Surrender, Encore Beach Club. By the way, I'm back at Encore Beach Club June 25th. If you want to come to the ultimate party of your life, you need to come to Vegas. But yeah, so I mean, I'm just filling up my calendar and doing what I got to do.
And if you had one word to describe your career, what would it be?
Very visual. Well, one word, visual. You gotta see it. That's all I'm saying.
See it to believe it.
Yeah.
All right, and last but not least, what's your social media handle? Where can everyone go to find all this?
Well, 2 days ago, Bow Wow made me change my Instagram to straight Jermaine Dupri. It was Jay Warhol because of my infatuation with Warhol, Andy Warhol. But he was just like, Jermaine, you should have more followers, and I don't think people know what that Jay Warhol is, and so I'm listening to the younger guy tell me about Instagram. So I'm like, okay, well, all right. So I called Instagram. People not changing. So my Instagram now is Jermaine Dupri. My Twitter is Jermaine Dupri. My Facebook is Jermaine Dupri. Everything is the same, so
Where did the Warhol? Has that always been consistent with you?
Well, Jay Warhol has been my.
Well, not Andy Warhol. Is like as an idol, like.
Oh yeah. Andy Warhol is amazing. Like it's like his thought process and things that he would say. Like I heard Andy Warhol say, in years to come, everybody's gonna want their 15 minutes of fame, right? And I when I heard him say this was prior Twitter, pre-Instagram, all of this, and I always used to wonder what made him say that. And it's like now in 2015,
that's crazy.
I understand what this guy was talking about, and I'm like, how in the hell did he even know this?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's certain people that I just cling to. Like when I hear people say things like that, and I hold them, and then it happens, I'm like, man, and maybe I should listen to this dude a little bit more. Maybe I should look at his paintings a little deeper than what I'm actually looking at. I might see something that somebody else don't see.
Spark you up.
Spark your next step.
Courtney, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stuart Starlet.
You guys can hit me up at DJ Jesse J. Also, make sure you guys hit us up at BHL Online on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Make sure you guys check out the single Where You At?
Yeah.
Where you at?
Jermaine Dupri featuring Bow Wow.
Yeah.
Until next week, same time, same place.
Holla.
Peace.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.